Well, choody diddly do, my G's, and I've got a wonderful bit of pork jerky here to start off the proceedings. In today's service, we will be turning our drum and bass Bibles to chapter 74, and we're going to do it's in two parts, a little bit of vital sound design, and sorry, I've got a lot of beef jerky in my mouth, pork jerky. The pork was slightly cheaper. It tastes just like beef though, really good. Anyway, jerky's jerky, you know. So this is the loop that I've created today, and I'm going to do a little bit of vital sound design tips and then some composition tips, and I hope it's going to help you guys out. So here is the little aggressive, fast-paced, neuro-funky kind of loop. Okay, so really nice. And all it is basically is I've basically got a nice little drum pattern which features essentially some kicks, snares and shakers and hats, okay, and a little ride that I'll talk about in a moment. And the bass slash lead bass is basically coming, and you can hear there's some clicks on there. I've really been unprofessional in this sense. I should probably fade those nasty little clicks. Yeah, you don't hear them so much amongst the drums. But anyway, how I created this pattern was basically by having two different vital basses. Okay, and let's start right from the beginning. Okay, let's start with patch number 1, and this is the ARP patch. Okay, and I'll just show, I won't go super in depth on the patches because they'll be here forever, but it's called Scrumpy Jeff. I've been designing a few new phase plant patches as well as vital patches the last couple of days to keep both parties happy. But yeah, this is the Scrumpy Jeff I designed today, and it is basically an ARP. And without going into super too much detail, the little tips. To make an ARP, I've done basically the whole main amplitude is at 1/16, and it's on this saw down, like a ramp down, but I've curved it and I've added a little attack part to the start so it's not so clicky. But because I want it to start on the top, I've moved the phase position down here slightly to the right, as you see. You know, I've moved it slightly to the right so it starts actually up here. But then when it repeats, it doesn't click back up to the top, so that's why I like to have a little fade in there, you know. We've got a pitch movement going on as well, and I've created an arpeggiator which actually seems to have changed its sort of shape here, which is interesting. But basically, when you go to this grid, you can set the first number to 16 and the second number to 12, and then you can select your step here, and then I can basically use it as like, yeah, it's all synced up to the grid and it's 1 octave high, and I can just sync direct, I can, you know, quantize directly to the notes. And so what I do is once I've set up that grid, I track that LFO to the pitch of both oscillators, right, to create the ARP. So they're up at +12 on both, and then I just draw in the kind of melody that I want, you know. But I drew one that was kind of like, had a little bit of yeah, a third and then like 3 semitones up and then 2 semitones up and then 1. So it's kind of like got this downward feeling, and then again another sort of downward spiral of pitches. I'm really good at music theory, aren't I? Yeah, anyway, that's sort of what I did. So the first half is kind of more focused around the root note with some little off note parts, and then the end part is like just a kind of fill that goes down. Okay. And in terms of the sound design, it's basically, I've used the brown noise. I'm just using the free version of Vital. The brown noise and yeah, cranking the level on that up from 0 to 100, so really aggressively, combining that with a sine wave underneath, which does not have any movement on. So the sine wave is powerful and sustained, and the brown noise is doing the arpeggiator, and all of that goes through a load of distortion driving up almost the whole way on the soft clipper. So that you know, that's what creates the sound really. You know, it's the sound is created by the sine wave and the brown noise. Again, one arpeggiated, one static, crammed through distortion together. That's what creates the sound. And then everything else is minor adjustments to change the tonality, such as little comb filters, yeah, little bits of unison, there's some chorus to add some width. The main LFO also has the stereo knob switched to the left, so it's actually, it breaks the signal, it breaks the sound apart and gives it a bit of a left and right difference, so it becomes much more interesting, because it's quite an atonal sound. So I'm basically trying to make what was atonal to begin with more interesting by doing some stereo magic, and also, yeah, applying some little effects that sort of change the tonality, such as the flanger as well. Putting like a little bit of pitch in here and there, a little bit of tonality in here and there, with the filters as well, like over here, the comb filter. Yeah, it's quite subtle, but adds a bit of extra character and tonality. But I won't go too much more in detail. I've just got one more LFO here that's like a slow one. So what you'll notice is as the arp moves along, I changed some parameters. So for example, we've got a little bit of frequency modulation between the two oscillators. It's quite subtle, but it changes the tonality. So that shifts up and down. And then things like the chorus and the reverb open up, so that because it's such a repetitive arp, it needs to have changes over time. But that's all I'll go into with the Scrumpy Jeff. And so I made that, and then I bounced it out to an audio file here, right? But then to get my secondary sound, I needed to create another vital patch, and here's one I also made this morning, which is called the gloop holes, I believe it was. Yeah, gloopy holes or something. Yeah, gloop holes. And this one sounds like this. So completely different sound. Again, it's got a bit of a movement to it. It's got that Neurofunk aggression to it as well, but the rhythm is much slower. And yeah, this one, there's obviously some distortion on there, but that's not what really creates the sound. It's mostly actually just the FM between these two wavetables. So the drink the juice, I've basically put a bit of movement on that and thrown that into a sine wave with the FM, okay? And we've only got the signal from the sine wave then, so it's only the FM to sine wave. I don't use the actual volume of the drink the juice. Like, maybe it's nice, but those spectral harmonics, the problem with them is the high end is always really rough. So if I use the spectral harmonics, it'll often be FM'd into a sine wave to soften it a bit first, and then I've actually even low passed that sine wave to get rid of that high end. Okay, because the spectral wavetables can be good, but you have to be careful when you use them, because they're horrible in the high end, you know? They always sound horrible. So low passing it though was a way to get rid of that. And then I've got the mid-range from it still, which created that growl in the sine wave originally. So yeah, a bit of filtering there. Run it through another little phaser filter just to shape the sound. And the movement, the complex movement is just a LFO with a saw down, but this time it's slower, and I've got a bit of a longer attack here. Again, I'm starting the movement a little bit further along the LFO already, as you see with the phase position here. And yeah, what I then also do is I run LFO2 into LFO1. So I put the phase, I select LFO1 first, I drag and hold LFO2, and I put it down here onto the phase position on the slider, okay? So yeah, what that essentially enables is for the LFO, the movement to just skip along that top LFO at random points almost, and that's what creates that sort of offbeat kind of rhythm. You see how it sort of goes back and forth, you know? It's an LFO sandwich, as I like to call it. Yeah, this one again, just then enhancing the sound with like various reverbs, delays, chorus, a bit of OTT kind of compression, a bit more filtering. But yeah, classic kind of Vital Artifact Neurofunk kind of bass, but a new one though. And sorry, then what I did essentially was I bounced that out as well. The same MIDI again, so I have it down here. Okay, and then we can test how they kind of sound with the beat. But what I wanted to do was combine them both. So how I does it, like, right, if you pay attention how I does it, it's like I do it with the bass and the drums, and then it basically ends up sounding wicked. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so basically, I took the ARP first, right, and then I just chopped out parts of the gloop hole. I chopped out these little bits, as you see, and I just moved them up on top to where the ARP is, you know? So when I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it, you know, I started off with the ARP like that, and then I just took like random bits and moved them up. And then I can kind of already tell in my head like where I want them to be. And then you get that injection of Neurofunk naughtiness by having that kind of fast little one-shots from a different sound, like kind of jarring, you know? And that's how I created this then. So the timings are always a bit different, and the lengths are always a bit different to keep it interesting and more like natural. And that's basically that. And so to finish it off, I have these shakers in here, right? And so basically, they fit like really cool with the ARP because they're doing the same like 1/16 kind of pattern. But I wanted to emphasize when it changes, you know? So to follow the narrative of what the lead and the bass are doing, I want to make the percussion follow that narrative as well, you know? There's something I often do in my tracks, which a lot of people don't do, that I've noticed. So this is probably the golden tip from this video, really, is to like make your percussion like storyline follow your bass and lead storyline, you know? So all I really did was I took the offshot parts, the kind of injections, the gloopy hole injections. I should write a book with new words. The gloop hole injections, and I moved them over onto the shaker. Now I deleted it, and then I've got these gaps where the shaker stops. And I thought that was cool, and I was going along the right lines, but what I noticed was it then felt like it was missing something always, you know? So I thought I'd replace the shaker with a different percussion instrument to fill out that high end, and that will like give you that dimension of glory that you're looking for in your music, you know? So basically, I chose some random ride one-shots, but ones that have a character on them and a bit of a distorted edge, not just a 808 ride, you know, something with a bit of grit to it already, you know. And then that just couples up perfectly with the, you know, the whole proceedings, you know. So something I do a lot in my tracks is like, yeah, switching up percussions to like fit the narrative of the bass and lead, you know. And how cool does it sound, and how easy was it to create, really? I just took two vital patches, I bounced them both out with the same MIDI, and then I just took a little part from one and layered it over for the other part to create these, you know, call and responses. And then I did the same thing with the percussions, you know? So it's all call and response at the end of the day, but that's how we ended up with this wonderful loop today. Imagine if I just did that for like another 10 minutes, just for fun. Anyway, you can find all of my work on my OnlyFans. I have a Patreon with a wonderful Discord community with amazing members who are frankly better humans than I am. And you should become one of them as well, because we can't really get to know each other that well, you know, through a one-way video. But if you're in my Discord, you're part of the team, you know? you know, the team. You become part of the team. So come and join the team. And what it will allow me to do is allow me to keep making content as well and keep doing this for you guys. Either way, I really appreciate all of your support on YouTube. May I finally remind you before I leave that I have one-on-one classes available. Links are always down below. My calendar will sync up to your time zone, so no matter where we are in the world, we will see each other on a virtual space on a software known as Zoom. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys on there for lessons soon. And aside from that, you can also always hit me up for mixing and mastering work. As you can tell, I've got a, this is a wonderful cryo copper cable, which improved the sound quality on my already amazing Audeze headphones. Plus, I got this wonderful headphone amp as well. And my remote setup now is better than what I even had in my home studio. It sounds much better. So I've got really great listening setup at the moment. So perfect to smash out the mixes and masters. If you guys want any of that work done, email me info@artifactmusic.com for a price. One more thing before I go is these Vital presets, as you already know, are ones that I've made. No, that's not what I was going to say. As you probably already know, I've made a boatload of Vital presets. I've also got phase plant presets and also a current preset pack on my website. Just check out the links. The prices are good. The sounds are excellent. My demos don't do them justice, so I've been told, but yeah, everyone loves the packs once they get them. So if you want some packs and you don't want to spend your whole afternoon tweaking the filter cutoff position on Vital to the 117th degree percentage minute detail, then just grab some of my presets, you know. Keeps me happy, keeps you happy. It's a win-win all round. Anyway, that's enough rambling today. I love you guys very much. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. More from me soon. Much love.